Cool.
for me to do it like that. Come on, baby. All right. Come on. Preview. Starting live here. Okay, so I did send that to you. And what I really do, what I would like to do also is to be able to um, have it where I can actually, tie in my cell phone. This way, while I am doing this, I can um, I can go on my cell phone and switch to it also,
Nice.
or
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
or another computer because I don't have all my equipment from New York down here yet. But I'm gonna try to head back up this week to do it, and then do some video. So of that. So okay, cool. Did you get that link?
I did. Yeah.
You did? Okay, fantastic. All right. Well, listen, we're live. We're 52 minutes. Sorry, 50 seconds into this broadcast, and we have. I know your time is limited. You got a lot of things going on. Everybody, this is my good friend from. Now he lives in Orlando, Florida. He was one of my. Well, he was a technician for a few of my friends, but he was one of my techs back in the day, and he's done very, very well for himself. This is Chris DeRoche, and his handle on Instagram is Mackie Mouse Media. And Chris, yo, good to see you, man. I haven't seen you since
You
I
too.
think it was like a summer ago or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I got to see you guys. I think it was before you got married, right? Or was it just
It was
after?
right before. It was
Yeah.
right before. Yeah.
So congratulations on that. You and your wife, you guys have been doing some incredible work, and you especially because you're doing, um, you're working for Disney,
I am.
and you've been doing some incredible work there. But also on the side, you're an influencer. You have been with
Taryn.
Taryn. Sorry.
Yeah.
So your wife is Taryn. Now
Yeah.
so basically actually, Chris, I'm going to let you explain exactly what you've been doing as an influencer, not just for your own business, but also for Disney as well.
Right, right. So I work as a graphic designer for Disney right now. I work for a department called Disney Broadcast. The overall department is the Disney Parks Live Entertainment Group.
Okay.
So basically, we are doing all the video content for entertainment shows, at least mostly Walt Disney World, some West Coast, and a bunch of like cruise line, and a little bit in Hong Kong and Shanghai and stuff. Um, so that has been amazing. It's been one opportunity after another to kind of grow and get to do some really really cool stuff. Got to open a bunch of shows. Got to do a bunch of things. Before that, I was a technician for Disney World,
Hmm.
kind of on the heels of what I was doing in New York as an audiovisual technician. So I used to be a tech for those entertainment shows and kind of moved on to the video content creation portion of it.
Right.
And now I'm kind of moving into the project management side for graphics as well. On the side, in addition to that, we actually, Taryn and my wife and I, started a T-shirt shop
Hmm.
because my wife is a bit of an artist, a calligraphy artist and character artist as well.
Yeah.
So we just started making T-shirts just for fun, just to kind of hang out in the park and stuff. It's relatively small, and part of that business was we needed to get the marketing out there for the shirts. So we started taking pictures of ourselves in the shirts, and that grew into a portrait photography business
Right.
that she and I both run and participate in ourselves. So
Yeah.
we're kind of hustlers in that
Yeah.
regard.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot. We're
and you,
doing a
and you
lot.
guys are adorable. I have to say, as a couple,
Thank you.
you guys are adorable. As individuals, you guys are awesome also, and you guys are very powerful together. And the people who you have influenced have been. I mean, you created your own community, which is unbelievable, just in a short period of time. I would say less than 2 years from, or actually, because we saw each other. Was it last year? I forgot. Okay.
It was 2 years ago, I
two
think.
years ago.
I think.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So when I did get to see you, that's when the shirt. That's when you were talking about doing the marketing of the shirts and those type of things, and you were basically walking around the park, taking photos and doing those type of things. And then you also educated me, which was really fantastic, where you were saying that there were certain things you could do which didn't infringe on any licensing or anything like
Hmm.
that. And so you guys are really, really smart, critical thinkers, but also you did a lot of research. And so talk to us a little bit about that, because I think people need to understand a little bit more, get a little bit more depth into like how it all started and what challenges you guys had, and or what pitfalls you guys avoided because you did your homework.
Sure. So part of the t-shirt thing was it literally started because um, Taryn was she was laying on the living room floor on
Hmm.
her stomach, sketching in a sketchbook. And it was like some calligraphy that she had been playing with. And it was like a Disney quote. She used to sketch in a small notebook, and she was just like doing this on a kind of a bigger board. And
Right.
I literally walked by and I looked at it and went, that would look really good on a t-shirt. And because I was already a graphic designer, I kind of knew the technology behind how to make that happen.
Right.
So after a little bit of research, we found a manufacturing company in California that does, it's called DTG garment printing. It's direct to garment printing, meaning that
Hmm.
we don't get bulk orders of hundreds of shirts at a time. They are on-demand orders. So
Right.
as when we put a design out, we give it to the manufacturer, and then when someone purchases it, that order goes to the manufacturer, and the manufacturer just delivers that one to their house, so that
Right.
we don't have to deal with stock and inventory and all that stuff. It
Yeah.
was really important to me when we started the business, which in my mind it wasn't a business yet. It was just us peddling things on like Etsy or something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we very quickly realized like we should do it for real and
Hmm.
establish a real business practices around it. That I wanted to make sure it wasn't infringing on our lifestyle, that it wasn't going to be too, she's a kindergarten teacher and I worked full time, and I didn't want this to unravel our psyche and our house routine.
Right.
So I was like, okay, let's do direct to garment. We don't have to carry stock. We don't have to worry about shipping at all, which is a huge thing people have to deal with businesses like that.
Yeah.
All we have to do is create the content. So we did a lot of homework and looked at other people in the area that were also doing this. That's a
Hmm.
very popular small business model in Florida and also outside of Florida too, is kind of vacation shirts for Disney.
Right.
So we asked some of our friends and asked them how they did it, and we
Hmm.
got some help from some select few people that were willing to kind of give us some advice on it.
Yeah.
And so we basically ended up the way the Disney licensing works. Um, Basically, characters are for the most part copyrighted. There are some specific phrases that are trademarked. Um, so I don't want to say to get around it, because we weren't really at it to kind of circumvent the system.
Right.
We knew that there are official licensed merchandise that was out, and we didn't want to step on that.
Right. Hmm.
So, and we also obviously, like most business owners, don't want to get sued, and I
Yeah.
didn't want to
Sure.
lose my job, and like we wanted to do it on the
Yeah.
up and up, but we really were doing this out of our love for the company and our love for Disney in general,
And your
and just
talents.
because,
Yeah.
and yeah, and like using the talents that we had, and it really wasn't to be millionaires. It wasn't to make a full-time business out of this. Was never really our intention.
Right.
It was to make a little bit of side money, but it was really so that we could make things that people would enjoy,
Sure.
and that families could, their kids could enjoy. They could wear matching together, like that. So part of our homework was to figure out how to make sure that we're doing it, on the up and up.
Hmm.
And so the way around a lot of that is we basically created our own phrases and things that were allusions to our favorite characters. For example, I was a really big Disney afternoon guy, like cartoon guy.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we made some like Tailspin and Chippendale and Darkwing Duck type of shirts, and it was, Tan drew a really cool cityscape of St. Canard, and it was like a greeting card, and it said "Welcome to St. Canard," and there was a little Darkwing Duck ship in it.
Yeah.
That doesn't across any copyright issues.
Right.
There's no kind of legal ramifications to it. It was just it falls under kind of Creative Commons fan art.
Okay.
And that's kind of really what we were targeting is fans who liked stuff, and the money that we were really making on it was just to further support our fan art.
Right.
Not really to kind of make a whole thing out of it. And there's plenty of people who do that here too.
Yeah.
That's kind of how that got started.
That's awesome. So that kind of spun off then into the photography,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you kind of like you started. Well, you first started taking pictures of your wife, and you guys like just enjoying the park together, and I think that was like how it kind of was the metamorphosis, right, of it, where and then I think it was maybe a couple close friends of yours
Mm-hmm.
how that started. So take us on a little journey of that also. Like just walk us through maybe how it all started, like like the chrysalis of everything to where you are today, because it's amazing what you're doing. I'm telling you, it's amazing. I love it.
Thank you. I really appreciate
Yeah.
that. So I, in addition to my field tech work,
Yeah.
I was a post production specialist in New York as well. So I had been an editor and a graphic artist and a colorist for a while, um, as well as some audio stuff. So I was kind of making. I was a production guy. I was in the field when I needed to be in the field. I was a post. I was in studios.
Right.
So when I moved to Florida, I kind of wanted to continue some of that.
Hmm.
So I had already had a little bit of a presence and a little bit of expertise in YouTube videos and making small scale productions. Um, so when Taryn first moved down and where we were early dating, we had really kind of started vlogging and doing a lot of like video related things. So naturally, when we started the t-shirt business, we wanted to kind of take that passion that we had in media and video media,
Right.
and pictures, and kind of translate that into how not only to help the business, but things that would, kind of look good and that would make people excited about it.
Yeah.
So we started by doing both photo sessions and sort of mini commercials,
Hmm.
kind of little cinematic spots on the shirts. Uh, there's a lot of plenty of pretty people down in the south by the beaches in Florida. It's real easy to find people in entertainment and our friends who could kind of model our stuff together,
Right.
along with Taryn as well. So we had started to do almost exclusively marketing pieces that turned into so much fun
Hmm.
that we kind of spun off into doing some brand deals with a couple people on Instagram. Like there was a sunglass company we were doing business with, and Taryn was finding people who wanted her to model, kind of show off hair products and makeup, etc.
Right.
So we
Right.
started kind of spinning off photos and media to support that. And then I had linked up with a group in Orlando. There's a very, very large photography community in Orlando.
Hmm.
Everything from creative Photoshop composites to agency things to beach, footage, everything you can think of.
Right.
So I found a group of people that were doing pretty consistent meetups, and we're talking meetups of like 50 to 80 people. Would just meet up in an area, not always in the city. Sometimes it's in just a random downtown area,
Yeah.
and then we just walk around and take pictures for 3 hours and meet each other and make connections and network that way. And once I did that, that kind of opened up my community a lot
I see.
to people who had similar interests, and I started going out with them. And these are people who everything from wedding photographers to professional agency portrait guys to people who were just starting, just picked up their first camera. So I kind of you know, hung out with those guys a lot to try and get some of their expertise and their knowledge. And eventually I bought their camera and
Hmm.
lenses and all that stuff, and would just start asking people to take pictures,
Right.
just kind of trade for time, and models who had a little bit more expertise so that I can kind of learn how to pose and stuff.
Right.
And eventually I think that first year I took, I think it was somewhere in the 30,000 foot photo area, something like that, that first year, just because I
Yeah.
was shooting any and everything I can get my hands on. And then
Right.
I started learning the post production side of like editing skin and doing like real editorial editing and stuff like that.
Right.
Linked up with a couple agencies that allowed me to kind of do, stuff for them. So that kind of blew up into its own little mini business right there. And then people would, eventually I got a couple who
Hmm.
was like, "Hey, it's our anniversary. I'd like to do a little anniversary shoot." So I kind of like, that's perfect. I kind of want to get into that anyway.
Right.
And so, kind of by word of mouth, it just started really blowing up into doing engagements and doing weddings and doing birthday party, like big, extravagant parties, and you know people trying to get into agencies and getting agency work that way.
Right.
Florida's a beautiful place. I'm really lucky to kind of live where I live, where it's bright and sunny most of the year, and there's palm trees and everything's gorgeous, and we can go
Yeah.
to amusement parks and take pictures. And
That's
so
true.
I never run out of backdrops
Yeah.
really.
So.
And then that turned into kind of wanting to teach, how I came up very simply in that field.
Right.
Um, and so that kind of blew into the YouTube tutorial side to show people that you don't need to be a 20-year veteran to be good at this. You can
Right.
pick it up and follow these steps, and it's and you can kind of follow a passion that you really liked, and it's not as hard as it looks.
Yeah, and I think that's really good because it shows the growth, your growth as, again, someone who's been in the production industry, where you've trans you've moved from one industry into another industry, which are basically they're all connected for the
Mhm.
most part, but that it also shows your growth as a technician, but also as a photographer and as a creator, um, and then also as an educator online, which is really really cool. And I love, again, those filters that you've been using, which makes your head really small, makes your eyes really
Oh
big,
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
sometimes the material it's technical, and you make it very easy to understand, and you show through your work on your screen on the examples. But to have to basically create your own kind of like caricature, it's really it makes it fun, and I think it also separates, that tried and true, traditional classroom instruction, which no one really likes it anymore. And I think,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
where you're making it fun, and again, by using that, where you're exaggerating your eyes, and shrinking your head, but then your body is still full, and then I don't know if it tweaks your voice,
It
but
does, yeah. So those Snapchat filters were something that Taryn and I used to play with all the time.
uh-huh.
When we were going out and stuff, we incorporated into our vlogs. There were
Yeah.
a couple that we made entire characters out of when we were bored. And when I so that's actually funny. So I got this pack of cards from a website, expertphotography.com,
Hmm.
and they do a whole blog on like very specifically teaching kind of camera stuff. It's mostly in written form,
Okay.
and I'm a video guy, so I don't really have. I mean, I write, but I that's not how I translate my media. It's mostly video and photos.
Yeah.
So I got this pack of cards. This guy I was talking to online was like, "Hey, can you try these out?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So it's a normal pack of cards in the corners, but in the middle it has each of the suits are different categories. So like the clubs is basics, and then like it keeps going into like composition and whatever. So I kind of looked at it and went, it would be really cool if I just used these as flashcards and just went throughout the day, like once a day or once a session.
Right.
It was just like, here's how this thing works. Like, what are we doing today? It's the Six of Hearts. Whatever the Six of Hearts is what I talk about in kind of short form. Because I
Okay.
get a lot of messages online from people who are like, I just don't understand where to start, and it's overwhelming and I don't get it. And I'm like,
Right.
these things are such simple concepts in small bites, but everybody thinks that it's like, oh, you have to take a course, like a college course on camera and composition and darkroom and all this other stuff. And
Yeah.
really, it's just like one little bite at a time.
Right.
So while I was making the video, I was goofing around and I was like, I am very technical,
Yeah.
and I'm speaking to mostly non-technical people who are beginners,
Yeah.
and I get a little too heady on stuff.
Yeah.
So in order to keep myself from going over the top on the technical speak,
Yeah.
I figured if I looked like a goofball, then watching myself on camera, I'm like, I can't really be talking about like high level technical stuff if I sound like a chipmunk and my
Yeah.
eyes are like this big with glasses.
Yeah.
And and then eventually I started like cleaning my camera, and then like Taryn would come home from work in the middle of me recording, and I just go out and say hello to her in the middle of the. I was just
Yeah.
trying to like make it more relatable and personal,
Yeah.
but really that filter came out of me trying to distract myself from getting too technical and remembering to like speak as simply as I looked,
Right.
so that it wouldn't go over people's heads.
That's so funny, man. It's so funny. But the good thing is you make it work. You make it work. And I know it's personality driven, but it's also but you've created your own kind of culture, community, obviously, and a lot of people are following you. So on a daily basis, how many emails or DMs do you get inundated with, asking you for advice, or to do something?
It's not overwhelming yet.
Okay.
It's partially my fault because I spread it out between. So I have a Twitter, a Facebook page, like a business Facebook page. So
Hmm.
Mackeemousemedia has its own page. I have Instagram. I have Snapchat. I stream on Twitch.
Okay.
I do Instagram Live every once in a while. So I kind of spread myself out pretty far. Um, and it was really with the intention of kind of reaching the most people possible,
Yeah.
wherever they were. So I get kind of bits and pieces, but over all of those social media things. Most technical questions that I get on Instagram for the most part. Occasionally, I'll get some comments on YouTube, but I'm still kind of populating the content on YouTube, so people aren't flooding there just yet.
Yeah.
Um, most of my day-to-day content is on Instagram. I get a couple dozen, especially if I'm active and I'm like if I go out and do like a story that day. Like I've done things where we go out to the park and I'll do like I'm all day today. I'm gonna go on my Instagram story. I'm gonna show you how to do camera transitions, like
Right.
how to do these cool like swipes and things that people are doing on YouTube with your phone on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram Live.
Right.
And so when I do things like that, people will pick up that I'm doing something kind of continuously all day.
Yep.
And then I'll get like, upwards of a couple dozen people who are actively like following along with me and asking me questions. And, if I go into an arcade and show a specific technique about like lighting,
Yeah.
then I'll get a bunch of people asking a bunch of specific questions about that thing and following me throughout the day. But
Right.
they kind of spread out as I put out content, a bunch of people come and ask about it until I put out the next piece of content. So it really depends on how consistently I'm putting stuff out. But it's definitely enough to be a side hustle, but not so much that it's unmanageable just yet.
I see.
But
Yeah.
I'm kind of pushing to put more content out there to start bigger conversations so that people, my real hope is that people who were either intimidated to start photography or video, or currently own equipment
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because of Christmas presents, or they bought it for themselves and they don't really know how to use it. They just bought it because they see it's popular and are interested, but they don't know where to go from here.
Right.
It's my hope that if even one or two of those people come to me and say, I bought a camera, I didn't know how to use it, now I do, and now I'm taking pictures of my kids and I love it.
Right.
That's kind of my real goal with the whole thing.
Yeah, I see. So, how much content is too much content to release to the audience to to the public? Is there too much? You know what I mean?
That's a
Does that
that's
make
an
sense?
interesting question in 2020, because if it were 10 years ago, I would have told you a completely different answer.
Right.
I don't think it's possible for there to be too much content anymore. If this kind of COVID situation and quarantine has shown us anything, the YouTubers that I know who used to do daily vlogs, who don't anymore, or used to do at least some kind of content on a regular basis,
Right.
they're not slowing down. They're tripling their content. They're putting out 2-3 videos a day. Now, granted, this is not a single person. They're usually teams of 3 or 4 or more. These are, you only see their one face. But that is all to say, I don't think that anyone is intimidated by volume anymore, because the access to information is so, it's not just plentiful,
Mm-hmm.
it's speed. I think that
Mm.
changed the game. It's the fact that you could have an instant answer to a question or
Right.
instant answer to a technique, that people just assume if they have a question, it's 2 button clicks and and it's in my hand. Whether I understand it or not is something else, but I have access to it.
Yeah.
So I think if you put out 2 videos a day for the rest of your life, people would still want more. I
Yeah.
don't think there is a way to have it too much content, which is overwhelming for creators because we have to keep up with the trend.
that's
And it's
true.
impossible.
That's true. Because I've been wondering, I've been thinking, how text messaging basically accelerated the way people communicate with each other, right? On a
Yep.
almost on an immediate basis. But I think social media, like Instagram, I mean, it's not really Facebook, because Facebook you can post some stuff and then walk away. But I think Instagram, it's almost not to say it's going to replace text messaging, but it's almost
Mhm.
like if text messaging and content, video, pictures could be smashed together all the time, because text messaging you can just write a text and that's it. But with Instagram, you really are forced to put some kind of media to it, whether it's a
Mhm.
picture
Mhm.
or video,
Mhm.
and then the hashtags and everything else, the handles. So I'm seeing that that's going to become how everyone is going to communicate with each other, because it's not just like on a 2D level. It's actually,
Mhm.
what are you
Mhm.
doing? I want to kind of like I want to see what you're doing, but
Mhm.
then if it's information driven, I want to see because I want to understand, I want to learn, and then I want to share, and then it's just I mean it's constantly, I don't know. I think it's exploding.
Yeah,
Every
for
time you
sure.
think you understand, there's something new that's just being offered and
Yeah.
being added to it, especially with
Speaking of
apps.
which,
Yeah.
where all the kids are now is it's TikTok is where everybody is now, is
Yeah.
kind of doing, and it's not just here's a silly dance that I do. Like that's a lot of people are putting out PSAs on TikTok and putting out stuff that they're experiencing in their life, and it's becoming kind of like a day-to-day memoir journal
Right.
now. I mean, it's huge. It's crazy how quickly social media blows up and changes
Yeah.
directions
But
over a very short period of time.
but let me ask. I mean, Instagram has been around longer than TikTok.
Hmm.
But isn't TikTok kind of like isn't it kind of like Instagram in a sense? I mean, although there's maybe no looping feature, but I think there's or if that's the thing that is the new thing that allows you to loop and give me your thoughts on that. You know what I mean? Am I making that question clear enough?
It's very strange. TikTok started as a music dubbing app called Musically. Days of Vine, of those like little loop things, right?
Right. Hmm.
R.I.P. Vine, because Vine is really fun. But
Okay.
uh, TikTok has become more of an art of expression
Okay.
through dance, through comedy, through magic, like people are doing like video illusions things, um, through the normalcy of life. Like people, there's a lot more raw versions of people on TikTok, which is interesting. Like girls are showing themselves without makeup to show this transformation of them when they look beautiful. But Instagram is very much about just the beauty part. It's just the like very done up,
Mm.
perfect, pristine end result.
Okay.
And TikTok is a very interesting bridge because while you do see people at their best, you are also seeing people at their natural state
Yeah.
in order to show growth.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that was the kind of intention behind that big boom, but the trends on it are as kind of annoyingly monotonous as it is. Just because like this songs get stuck in your head and like like a million people at once are all doing the same thing at once, which is as a creator a little frustrating because there's no like originality sort of.
Yeah.
There isn't a push to do something different. It's always pushed like, oh, this person did this, now I want to do that thing that that person did 400 times.
Right. Right.
However, it's causing upper level creators who are brave enough to kind of put original content out there to create like dances out
Mm.
of nothing. It's making it popular for people to move and to
Okay.
be goofy and to be vulnerable and
Mm.
to show themselves not being perfect at things. And I
Okay.
think that like not understanding how to know how to do a dance or doing a trend wrong doesn't
Right.
get you bullied. It actually just makes you a part of this like jovial community. It's a
Yeah.
very new thing that came out, and Instagram has never been like that. Instagram has always been about competition, always, even though
Yeah.
they say it's not. But
Yeah.
that's
You're
how
right.
it's always worked out.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Because it just seems like people but I mean, Instagram or what is being presented on TikTok could be presented on Instagram also. Because I think
Yeah.
it was people would post, "Hey, here I am. Here's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
wearing." You're right. It
Mm-hmm.
was the finished product, but it just took someone to start a new narrative with TikTok
Yeah. Yeah.
to
Seriously.
because at any time Instagram it could change too. I mean, although there are people who are using Instagram to show how to put makeup on, how to
Mm-hmm.
color their eyebrows and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Instagram Lives and IGTV now
Yeah, yeah,
too.
with
Yeah.
IGTV, yeah, exactly. So, and there's a lot of programs that we shot a long time ago that I'm going to start to, put it on IGTV. I mean, these are small,
Nice. Yeah.
little video narratives and stuff like that we used to do for our customers because our customers couldn't afford it. But we just said, listen, let's do it because there's a story to be told, and
Yeah.
people
Absolutely.
need to see it instead of, but anyways, with that, because I know your time is limited, but what new things are there any new things that you're looking to do to I mean, of course, don't tell me everything because that's part of your success. But is there something that you're looking to like a new area maybe that you're looking to delve into or offer some new I don't know some new products or some new education type of programming that you're looking to do?
Most of my new ventures and adventures are education related because I started a platform. Um,
Hmm.
I started a YouTube channel that is the beginning foundation of like testing out to see if it would work. If I could do it, if I knew how to do it, if I wanted to do it.
Right.
So I started like a, learning exposure for camera series. I started putting some cinematics out there. I kind of threw a little bit of everything out there to kind of figure it out.
Right.
Now that I have that and I have a pretty established brand, once I did that, I started like really pushing my credibility. So
Right.
I was shooting as many models as I could, as many gigs as I could, and flood Instagram with examples of my work so that people knew the kind of artist that they were getting their educational information from,
Right.
and kind of what my angle is with the whole thing. I feel like now I've done over almost 2 years of that. I feel like I have a really good portfolio of, and I was like searching for my own style and the things I liked. I kind of figured out what trends I liked and I held on to, and what
Right.
things I resonated with, and then what things were just trends that people were chasing that I didn't like. Everybody's into film and grain and very moody and earth tony. There's no disrespect to that. It looks great. And every
Right.
time I do something like that, I'm like, yeah, I understand why people like
Mm-hmm.
this.
Mm-hmm.
But I am the kind of guy who resonates with very vibrant, vivid colors, not super popular out there right now.
Right.
But it's a thing that I feel strongly about. And it's starting to catch on with
Mm.
my models and the people who follow me.
Yeah.
So now I'm at that place where I feel like my voice is clear now. So my next step is to take that voice and show other people how to either find their own voice in learning from the journey that I took,
Right.
or specifically, before you can find your voice, you have to learn the craft. You have to learn
Right.
the basics, and you have to learn where the entry point is to, I bought a camera at Best Buy, now what? So I'm starting to do, and I have people who ask me questions, and I learned are not as basic as I thought. I thought it was going to be people who are like really, really learning early.
Right.
Turns out it's actually people who have already taken some pictures. They know kind of how to use the camera,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't, and they've plateaued. So like they've done what they have been able to do to get to that first step, to
Right.
kind of get a finished product.
Yeah.
And now they have a finished product, but they don't know how to get a different finished product,
Yeah.
like a polished one, or take that, what they already know, to the next level.
Right.
So
Right.
my next round of education is in getting to a little bit more technical education,
Mm-hmm.
but simplifying it down to its most basic form.
Right.
It's a single tool. You use it this way for like 2 minutes, and
Right.
you've got it. Like there's
Excellent.
no working for hours and hours and hours. So
Right.
it's all going to be YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And then a little bit of live streaming and stuff. And my next big thing, which you're getting the exclusive scoop because I haven't told this to anybody yet,
Yeah.
is Patreon. Is to not necessarily for purposes of monetizing it, because it's going to be very, very cheap, in the single digit dollars. I have one tier, I think, that I do one-on-one sessions with people.
Right.
That'll be a little bit higher, but I'm making it really accessible for the whole community. And the idea is to really bring in people
Right.
who want to invest something, even if it's investing $1 or $5. Like it's peanut money,
Right.
but sacrificing something so that we know that your commitment is theirs, so that we can really start to have the community grow. Because a lot of the people that I teach them one technique and they disappear forever. I never hear from them again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really want to kind of build a community where we can constantly grow together and keep improving each other.
Right.
I still learn things from the people somebody who's taking pictures for 2 months and are like, oh, I did it this way. And I'm like, I've been shooting 15 years. I've never thought to do that. I
Yeah.
love that part of it. That
Exactly.
community part of it is my favorite part. So
Right.
Patreon, bigger YouTube content of like not being afraid of more difficult stuff.
Right.
And then like, that kind of community aspect online. This quarantine is when I'm launching that. I'm in the process of kind of, fixing my website and writing a little bit more and getting it out to people. So if anybody out there is interested in photography and they want to learn kind of bigger things, doesn't matter if you're doing it with your iPhone or a camera you bought for your kids or whatever.
Right.
Those are the people that I'm looking to make friends with and make a family with, and start that kind of community.
So before I let you go, how do people get a hold of you online?
I am either Mackeemousemedia or the Mackie Mouse pretty much everywhere on the internet.
Okay.
My website is Mackeemousemedia.net.
Okay.
My YouTube is Mackeemousemedia. If you search for Mackeemousemedia, a little cartoon picture of me. Shout out to my boy JP Perez for
it's
like
adorable.
the whole
Yeah.
it's awesome. My Instagram is also Mackeemousemedia. That's Mackey Mackee. Which, okay, I don't know if you have people who follow you who are
Mm,
audiophiles, because I want to tell a very short story about where that name came from.
okay.
So guys that I worked for a DJ company in New York, and I used to rollerblade before I had a car in New York.
Okay.
And I was rollerblading into my office, and the head of the company said that I looked like the guy on a Mackie speaker, Mackie,
Oh, yeah.
which is a guy who's like mid run, a little
Right.
stick figure that's mid run. So he always used to call me Mackie.
I see.
And so when I would DJ and MC, they started calling me DJ or MC Mackey, but I
Awesome.
spelled it with two E's. So when I
Right.
came to Florida and I was doing a bunch of Disney stuff, I changed on my hand to Mackie Mouse.
Mackie Mouse.
So if you have any audio fans out there who know of the Mackie logo,
Yeah.
that's the
It fits. It fits so appropriately. Yeah. Listen, man, I'm very proud of you. I've always been proud of you ever since
thank you,
I knew
man.
you were like when you were in high school, wasn't it? Or was it just
You
after
did.
high school? So
I was 17 when I met you. Yeah.
it was only, like 2 years ago.
Yeah, right, right. And I
All
want to
good.
take an opportunity
Yeah.
to thank you for my countenance and how I am today is partly because of everyone that I encountered along the way in this journey, and you were a really really big influence on keeping me on the road of creativity and
Oh,
pushing myself beyond my abilities. So I want to thank you for constantly pointing me in that direction.
excellent. Well, listen, man, you and many people who have come through Viper have always been a pleasure. I mean, of course, there's superstars, there's five-star players. You're one of them, but
Thanks, man.
I always I miss you all. But
I miss you too.
but that's part of the owner and I mean I'm an employee of the company also, but that's part of that the cycle, like the cycle of the life of technicians coming in and out of different businesses. But
Right.
I really feel that it's our job to not only give you opportunities to work, but it's also to educate and to give back in a different way. And a lot of times it's they call it wisdom, other times they call it mentoring. I'm just me. I'll never change. And but you guys, whoever it is, you especially Chris, when you're with me working, it's such a wonderful experience. And when you guys leave, I have those memories. And and I wish that you guys could all come back, and we could all, but life goes on. We all grow and we establish roots, and we really do really great work. So again, you're one of those shining stars that have come through, and you were a shining star before me, before coming and working for Viper Studios, and you have made an incredible reality for yourself, and you've gone on to build like multiple relationships and communities locally to that international city of Orlando, and also
I did.
you're a value add obviously to the Walt Disney family, and
Thank you. Thank you. I take lessons that you taught me, even in how you dealt with us as technicians and aspiring creators. And I pass that on to people that I teach now, and I still teach them the way that you taught us back in 2005. Like 15 plus years ago.
yeah, only a few years ago.
Dude, I live with that every day. I really do.
Excellent.
I take those lessons all the time. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure speaking. Good. It's been a pleasure to see you again, and but also to
Absolutely.
have this conversation, which I hope those who get to watch this for years get to take something out of this, and you know, help them grow and become even more awesome people, more beautiful people in this world.
Thanks, man. I'm
So,
happy to be here. Thank you for
thank you,
having me.
brother. Hey, good to see you again, Chris, and
You
looking
too.
forward, love to your wife, and look forward to once everything goes back to normal. I'd love to come back down to Orlando to see
Absolutely.
you.
We
All
would
right.
love to see you for sure.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy.
Excellent, brother. I'll see you soon. All right. God
All right.
bless. See you
Take
soon.
care.
Have a great day. Thank you, man.
You too.
Okay. Bye now. So that's my friend Chris. It's so wonderful to see him again. He has done very well for himself and in life and also in again the community down there. And it's a multi cultural and an international vacation spot. There's people from all over the world that are there. And the cool thing is, if you watch what he's doing with on his Instagram, and we had that as a lower third for him. You'll get to see the talent, right? The people who he has been taking these wonderful, incredible photos of, and he has done some before and after work that you can find on his YouTube channel, and also, but you can see what he's doing on Instagram and all those other media outlets. So again, thank you again for joining me. We have coming up another great person who is growing the community of basically people who are incredible voices, singer-songwriters, established performers out there with groups, and his name is Travis. I just forgot his last name because now I'm thinking Rivera. And Travis is his handle is at Travis underscore Rivera underscore Studios, and he's going to be coming up. Again, he is another major player when it comes to voice education, voice training, and he's also really big into being a mentor to a lot of people in the community. So that will be coming up at 3 o'clock today. Hope you guys can join me, and hope you're all doing well during this time of COVID-19. Hope you're doing well. Keep washing your hands and keeping your social distance. But with that said, we are still connected, and through FaceTime, through Google Duo, Zoom, GoToMeeting, things like that. And so just keep communicating with your friends, with your family. Let them know how much you love them, that you miss them, and that, when we are all able to socialize again, it's going to be a wonderful experience, because this is totally unbelievable. This time of everyone on a global scale, and how we're all dealing with this, and how we're all going to pull through and persevere and be well and more prepared than ever before. So thanks again for joining me. Appreciate it. This is Chuck again from Viper Studios and Unit3.live. Check out our stuff, and we're going to be doing more of this. These I call them quick pods, because it's interviewing people in my network, people who I've met, people who I know. I love these people dearly because they're part of my family, extended family, and they all are doing things that are so remarkable that only we can tell these stories and get them out there, because unfortunately there's not enough press outlets out there that will do this for the people, but we will do it for ourselves so that more and more people can get to see who we are, what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we're affecting change on a local, regional, and global scale. So thanks for joining me, and I will be back in a few with Travis Rivera. If there's any technical issue, it's just because of the amount of traffic that is being generated nowadays with people doing online webinars and conferences, et cetera, et cetera. So hang in there, and I will be back in a few minutes. Thanks for joining me. Thank you, Chris, again, for joining me as well. Talk to you all soon.